How have you been getting on, mate? What's
Good, aye. All good. Died to her and all like so.
see now a wee bit of a quarrel going on there, mate?
I was actually walking through the park yesterday and some wee kid shouted that at me like so it was a bit embarrassing, but no, it was just something to do where during the lockdown, do something a bit
Yeah,
different, and I never really had the nerve to do it when I was out in public, so I may as well do it while I'm in the house. But
good.
that's everything's been good. Like I can't complain. Working from home and kids and all homeschooling and all that sort of stuff. Like it's been pretty hectic.
Yeah.
Like, but you can't complain. There's people out there in a lot worse situations than I am. Like so,
100%.
never complain.
How have you been getting on with the homeschooling, mate? Head fried?
It's been tough, like, because we have three here, like, and one's a big lad, so he just does his own thing, and then the wee fella in the middle, he's P6, like, so he's got that transfer test coming up in
Yeah.
October, November time. So it's hard for him, like, because we're trying to keep on him to make sure he's doing what he needs to do. It's a big year for him, like, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's tough, like, but my missus is a teacher. You'd like to think she'd take most
It's
of the
her
fun,
job,
like,
mate.
but I know that's why I keep telling her, but it doesn't seem to be working. But she looks after the wee one, and I try to look after the wee film P6 and keep him at it. But
Yeah, good stuff, mate. So just basically into the career, coachy. What boys club did you play for whenever you were younger?
I played. So I think I started when I was about 9. I played for a club called Boyland, and at the
Yes, East
time
Belfast.
I, they were based down in Inverary, or where East Belfast are now. And they
Uh-huh.
were quite a big boys club, in the area at that time. Like so, I always played a year up. I always played a year above myself at that time, like for a few years, and just went along, and enjoyed football. And then I think it got to about maybe second or third year in school, so about 13 or 14, and I moved to a team called East Belfast Rangers. They weren't a
Uh-huh.
club. It was just like just one team, and we just sort of played together for a few years, and they were a good team, like loads of good players, but um, half the team were mad, like, and there were, fights. Used
Yeah.
to be more interested in fighting times than playing football, and
Yeah.
you know, it didn't work out, like, and I stayed there. It was the end of under 15s, and then went to the cruise end of the under 16s, and was there for the next sort of 20 years, whatever it was.
Yeah. You went to Grosvenor, didn't you?
I did. I
You went
went
to
to Grosvenor
Grosvenor?
and
Yeah, because
tried to
it's
get me
not it's
to.
not really a sort of football school. It's more, would it be more rugby and stuff?
Well, I like to think of themselves as a rugby school, but they were never very good at it. Like, but the football teams actually have done better, in recent years over there. Our school football team, you were allowed to play from fifth year, so our school football team was pretty decent. Stevie Gard, at Cliftonville, and
Yeah.
the same team as me, and Big Iron Hog was in nets. So
Uh-huh.
we had a decent enough team. We got the semi final in the Northern Ireland Cup, and we won the Belfast League and stuff like so. When we were in sixth year, we had a decent team. But
Yeah.
yeah, they tried to get me to play the rugby, and well, I did. I played in first year because it used to be you played when you're in first year in school, you play the rugby during the week. So I think it was a Friday afternoon. So I played. I actually captained the rugby team in first year, and I enjoyed it. Like, it was good. And some people probably say I play football like it's rugby, but
Vincent a
but
few
I
boys.
I enjoyed the rugby, and then it came the second year, and you had to choose between the two. So it was a no-brainer for me. Like, I always just wanted to play football.
Yeah. And then sort of growing up, obviously 13, 14, 15, and then on the Crusaders and stuff. Did you have any other choices apart from Crusaders? And then how did the Crusaders move come about?
So it was came to their 16s. It was when you got to that stage. It was like trials. So the Irish League clubs, they didn't. There was no academies the way there is now. The
Yeah.
way I go down to 5-year-olds or whatever. It was under 16 was the first age group that you could go to an Irish League club, and um, for me, I had the choice of either or Glentoran. And my manager, my under 15 team at the time, he said to me, "You'd probably be better going to Crusaders because you'd have a better chance of being selected." So what they used to sort of bring about 40 kids in, and you
Uh-huh.
would go through a full pre-season training, and then from that they picked their squad for that year. And I remember, like, the under 16 one at the Cruise, the pre-season was the hardest I've ever done. It was frightening, like, the amount of running and the work and all we had to do. And thankfully, I got picked for that squad, and Chris Morrow was in that squad as well at the same time. That's when I first
Yeah.
met him. And me and him came through at that team at the same time. And it was actually about 3 or 4 games in. We were away to in that league at the time. There was there was Irish League clubs, but there's one or two boys clubs as well. And I think it was away way down in Drummond S. Can't even remember who we were playing, but it was lashing down. It was a terrible day. We got beaten. I had an absolute stinker, and that was me. I phoned the guy like on the Sunday or Monday and just said, listen, don't want to play football anymore.
Uh-huh.
And then a few days later, there was a guy rang me from the club who wasn't the manager or assistant, but he was involved in the team, and he rang me and said, listen, you need to give it another go. And thankfully I went back, like, because it would have been a shame not to have gone back, considering how things sort of went for me after that.
Yeah. Tell us a wee bit about, because obviously Crusaders, whenever you joined, they weren't, the club they are now. Tell us a wee bit sort of in detail, what it was like back then for yourself, sort of breaking through and senior players, and was Stephen the manager as well? What was sort of the surroundings like?
I came through probably 3 or 4 years before Baxter became a manager. So Alan Dornan was a manager at the time, so I played that year then in the under-16s. And we done quite well. I think we finished second in the league. I think Glenavon were the best under-16 team then, but we done okay. And then a year later, obviously, there was no under-17s. You just went straight to the 18s.
Yeah.
And I played about 4 or 5 games for them, and then went into the reserve team. Played about 4 or 5 games for them, and then made my first team debut, and then was in around the first team. Sort of going in between the first team and the reserves for that sort of the rest of that season.
I was against Chimley Corner, wasn't it? County Antrim Shield.
It was. I went to a penalty shootout. We actually got beaten penalty. So, like you were saying, they're not the team they are now, or whatever the club they are at. That was where they were at. Like, we're playing Chimney Corner, the County Antrim Shield game was a struggle. Like, it was tough, and we lost on penalties. I actually hit one of the penalties in shootout and scored. And Chris Morrow, he made his debut that night too. He came off the bench and he scored in the penalty shootout. But the club was nowhere near. Like, I think a lot of the people around maybe Irish League football now, or particularly some of the players, don't actually realise what Crusaders were back then. Like, and it wasn't that long. But yeah, so played then under Alan Dornan, and Alan Dornan. I don't know if you know Alan, but maybe from being the Blues, he was a reserve there recently, and Alan Dornan managed like he played, like he wanted everybody. He always sort of reminded me a bit of like Roy Keane. He wanted everybody to be exactly the same as him, and he just was so driven, and he was like just loved football, and he loved competing, and suppose maybe it was tough for him at the time because there wasn't any money at the Cruise, and I think he felt like he was banging his head against a brick wall. But he gave me an opportunity to play, and I started off quite well. I remember I was playing really well. I'd scored against the Glens, who were the team. We got beat 4-2, but they were the team to beat. Like, Michael Neal was playing for them then. And,
that was your league debut, wasn't it, against the Glens?
No, that was my second or third game. I think my league debut was away to Coleraine. We drew 3 each.
Yeah.
And I think it was a week after maybe we played the Glens. But yeah, and then about 4 or 5 weeks later, I've been doing really well. Scored a couple of goals, and was playing left back, and I was doing really well. And I was in North Sixth, and there was in school to have those formals and pre-formals or after formals and all that there. I went on them on the Thursday, and I enjoyed myself too much. And we were playing Limpfield then on the Saturday at Windsor. And because it had been going so well for me, I was like, this is easy, there's this no bother. And I had a few too many drinks on the Thursday, Friday morning, and tried to play on Saturday. And I've never told anybody that story, like, so that's it out there now. But it's one of them ones, like, it was a good thing in a way, because then sort of made me realise you can't mess about. Like, if you want to do well and play football, you can't be going out and drinking on Thursdays and Fridays and all that sort of. It was a harsh lesson learned when I got hooked off after 50 minutes at Windsor after getting a run around by Pat Wall. So yeah, but no, it was good for me and good experience at the time, and then I had a few years in the team and before I managed to sort of nail down a position.
Yeah. What I was going to say, did that sort of, I know Crusaders were probably in a bad state at that time, but did that help the likes of yourself and Chris Moore and younger players then? The sort of, because you see it, all the time when sort of clubs are in trouble, they actually end up giving a chance to the academy players more often because of no choice. Did it help you guys? It sort of worked out that way?
Yeah, definitely. When I look back, we ended up getting relegated in 2005. Glenavon beat us in a 2-legged playoff. I think they scored an extra time to beat us, and we got relegated, and I remember being in the changing room after the game. It was grim, like, you know.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it was the best thing that ever happened, because I got to go and play a year in what would be the championship now. It was just called the old First Division, and got to play against players of a slightly lower standard. You know, while I was only 18 or something at the time, 18, 19, and I was playing against players with slightly below standard, if you like, from the Premier League, and but there was still that expectation on us to win the league that year. We had to win the league, so you were still pressure from that point of view. But obviously, the standard of player you're up against wasn't as good, and you were able to kind of go in and learn your game, and then played really well that year, and we managed to get up, and I think we won every trophy. I think that year we won the Steel and Sons Cup as well, and the Intermediate Cup, and came back up. And then from there, you kind of had that winning mentality. You know, you kind of learned to win, and whereas the 3 seasons before that, we'd just been getting beat every week, and you know, you just got used to getting beat, and then it was sort of flipped around and came back up. And I think their first year back up in the Premier League, we finished 6th or something. You know, we've done quite well, and sort of were able just to build from, you know, year on year from there.
Who was the senior boys in that team, Coates?
Well, before we got relegated, Jeff Spears was playing. Davy Munster. Who else was there? Jackie Kerr. I don't know if you know him, but there was a few boys about then. And then when we got relegated, Baxter managed to sign David Rainey to come in. Davy Rainey was brilliant. Like, you know, that was he was class. Like, and you know, he played right up for the Welders until I think he was 41 or 42. You know, he's real fit, and he came down and scored loads and loads of goals for us in the First Division and fired us up. Like, you know, you need those goals to be able to win the league and get up. And so Davy Rainey was about then, Stevie Livingstone, and like I say, Davy Munster and Jeff Spears, and we had a good wee squad like down that in the First Division. And Stephen McBride had came through then as well, Sneaky, and so we had a wee nucleus of a team there and managed to get back up.
Good experience there of sort of, you know, your older players, but then you also have the likes of yourself and Chris Morrow and Stephen McBride then breaking through for a bit of youth, like, which is always a good mix. You know, it's always a good recipe.
You need that, like, I think, no matter what, you need both. You know, it's all well and good having loads of good young players, but you need sort of older heads around them to sort of pull them through, and vice versa. You know, there's nothing better. Like, even I noticed in the last few years, wherever Crusaders, particularly when Gavin White came through, you know, a young player like that, when they come through, even though you've been playing for 15 years, see, when someone like that comes into the team, like, it just lifts everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a young player coming through the, you know, the youth academy into the team and sort of lighting up the league and doing well. And you know, so, you know, like you said, you need both. You know, you need that experience, and you need those young players who energise the whole squad and get everything going.
Yeah. Just look, we're going to speak a wee bit about Stephen Baxter in terms of whenever he came in, what did he change? You know, was he good with the young players? Sort of what's his whole sort of philosophy like? What's he like with dealing with players and things like that? If you can go into, you know, a wee bit more detail for those who are looking from the outside in.
Yeah, I think when he first came in, it was obviously the job was to try and keep us in the league. You know, we were in the bottom of the league and we were struggling, and we ended up getting into the playoff place. I think his first game when he came in was a County Antrim Shield final against Linfield, and I think we got beat 2-1. I think we were well in that game, and we had a good chance of winning it. We ended up losing 2-1, and then, but he changed things straight away. He played me at left back, and he moved Stephen McBride from left back to sort of left midfield. And he had with him Terry Moore. I don't know if you know Terry.
No.
Terry Moore played for the Glens years ago. He went to the World Cup, I think, with Canada. But he was his coach when he first came in as assistant, and he was brilliant. Like, tactically, like, he knew the game so well.
Yeah.
And, you know, he set us up with a really good shape, you know, to try and stay in the league. And we literally just missed out. You know, we obviously ended up in the playoff spot and just missed out. But Stephen was brilliant. Like, see, when he first came in, he was great, and you know, he had that sort of determination. Once we get relegated, right, we're gonna, you know, he went out and he got David Rainey, and he said to me, Chris Morrow, Steve McBride, all the younger lads, you know, who he wanted us to stay and get us back up, and he made everybody buy into that. You know, I think over all the years, looking at Baxter, his biggest strength for me has been being able to attract good players. You know, if you look over the years, he's always been able to sign a player who's probably at a higher level than the team was at that particular time. You know, so yeah, you know, David Rainey at that stage, and then later on he signed Gareth McKeown at a time when probably, you know, he had maybe had other better clubs, if you like, at the time on the table, right up to the point where he got Billy Joe Burns, you know, when he left Linfield, and
Yeah.
he was very good at signing, you know, those players who were maybe had other offers on the table, and he must have been good at selling the club to them. You know, I don't think like coaching and tactics and all that thing was his biggest strength. It was just keeping everybody, you know, in a changing room, keeping everybody happy and enjoying it. And, you know, and I think maybe that's, you know, with a full-time thing over the last few years, has maybe been a bit more difficult to keep everybody happy, and the size of the squad, it's maybe more difficult for him to do. And when we were back then, we had a smaller squad, and, you know, everybody was sort of happy enough, you know, everyone was getting game time and was happy.
Yeah. How big was it the 2008-2009 Irish Cup final?
Yeah.
Was that sort of your first major trophy in terms of the league and the cup and things like that? Was that the team's first main one? Big,
it was
massive hurdle for you?
It was the first one we won, yeah, because we had a couple of county Antrim Shield finals. We had a League Cup final. I remember we had a League Cup final against Linfield before that, and we were winning 1-0. And it was about 10 minutes to go, and we were playing Linfield, and Big Davy brought Spike off the bench.
Yeah.
He scored 2 in the last 5 minutes. I think it was his 500th. He scored his 500th goal, and then he scored his 501st goal in the last 5 minutes. We lost 2-1. But yeah, the Irish Cup final in 09 against Cliftonville, that was the first one we won. And it was probably, obviously, outside the league, it's the best one to win because it got us into Europe as well, which obviously the money that comes along with that. And probably for the team and, you know, the manager and all the time, it was like getting over that first hurdle.
Yeah, definitely.
It was such a big game, you know, with Cliftonville too, and they brought a big crowd. They hadn't won it in years, and we hadn't won it in years, and it was probably, looking back on it, was probably the best game I've ever, one of the best games I've played, you know, in terms, like, personally, you know. It was great. And like you say, win the first trophy was always, you'll always remember that, like.
Yeah. What was the score that day? Who scored?
It was 1-0. There was very few chances in it, and Mark Dixon scored about 3 or 4 minutes in the second half, an absolute cracker. Marty Donnelly put a cross in. I just got a head on it, and I looked up in the air to him on the edge of the box, and he just rifled it on the volley into the roof of the net. It was a cracking finish, like.
Yeah.
And then for the last 40 minutes, basically after we scored, Cliftonville just pumped us, like, for 40 minutes, and, you know, it was one of those games where you're just sort of sticking your head in the way, and you're, you know, clearing it, and, you know, for 40 minutes, and we managed to hang on, like. So it was good. It was a good day, and yeah, it was, like you say, when your first trophy, was great.
Brilliant. And then one person I want to speak to you about is probably somebody you forged a great partnership with in the middle of the defence, Davy McGowan.
Yeah.
How important was he for yourself and the team?
Davy was brilliant. You know, he was probably a wee bit underrated, you know, in the league as a whole. You know, he was probably the best for a centre half, particularly, probably because of his height and shape. But he was the best one-on-one defender. You know, like, as a centre half, like, you don't want to be pulled out wide one-on-one with a winger or whatever, that sort of thing. He was comfortable, like, you know, one-on-one. You couldn't get past him. His last ditch tackling was first class. He read the game. It was sort of one of those ones where I went and headed it, and if I missed it, he cleared it up. You know, it was.
They're always the best partnerships, and ones if you've sort of got, like, you know, think back even to, like, Winky and Noel Bailey at Linfield, where Winky maybe went and headed everything, and Noel sort of, you know, swept around.
Anything he did when he cleaned it up, and that we were a bit like that. I wouldn't say we were as good as them two, like, but we were that sort of type, you know, where if I didn't win it, he was certainly there to clean it up. And some of the tackles and all he made, he was first class. You know, he last ditch tackles where he managed to get a toe in or, you know, block it or whatever, like. And he was quiet, like, he didn't say much. Very quiet. He only started talking once he had a couple of beers in him, and then he was nuts. But no, he was a good player, like, and like I say, he was probably a wee bit underrated throughout the league. And I think as well, I would say at 2.5, I think he retired too early as well. You know, I think he retired like 32 or 33, and it was like, why are you retiring? You know, what are you doing? But, you know, that's, everyone has their own sort of reasons why to do whatever they do.
100%. I want to speak to you a wee bit about the 2012 Setanta Cup. I actually never knew this, mate. You scored, was it a penalty in extra time of the semi-final, and then you scored twice You scored twice in the final against Derry City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good to be run for me. That was probably, looking back, like the league titles and all that you've won are great, but the Setanta Cup is like, there's so few players from the Irish League that have a Setanta Cup medal. You have the Linfield squad from 2005 and then our squad from 2012. So you're maybe talking, there's 40 players, in Irish League football.
And it's such the Irish clubs from down south. They're such a good standard as well in terms of their level of performance. Like, definitely.
Yeah. We played. To be fair, we played Bohemians, I think, in the first round, and we won handy enough. It was 2-0 for the two legs. It wasn't, they weren't great. Then we played in the semi-final Sligo, and Sligo at that time, they won the league and all that year. They were ridiculous. They had Joseph and Doe playing in the middle of the park, and if you ask anybody who's played against him, from the Irish League, like, he couldn't get near him. He just strolled through games, and they were first class. I think Gavin Pearce was playing for them too, from the Glens.
Yeah, the Glens, yeah.
He was playing for them, and Ian Barclough was the manager that night. Who's named the Northern Ireland manager. But yeah, we managed to get it with 1-2-0 at Seaview. I think we got a bit lucky. I think we caught them cold. I don't think they realised, the pitch and all the time at Seaview. We just got that the first artificial, which wasn't great. We had it, and we caught them a bit cold, and managed to get a 2-0 lead down there. And then we were 2-0, 2 each in an aggregate. And big Gavin Pearce gave a penalty away, and thankfully I was able to stick in the net. I think it just hit the underside of the bar. And I thought for a second here I've missed it, but no, it was great. And I think if you ask any of the fans who were down there, that was probably the best night in the last 15 years they've had, probably watching the Cruise.
Yeah. How did you find yourself in penalties, mate?
I don't even know. It came about down at Newry one day. Chris Keenan was a keeper, went off injured, and Chris Morrow went in the nets, and we ended up as 2 each and got a penalty in the last couple of minutes, and I just said I'm hitting it, and I scored, and then from then I was on them, and I was banging them in. There was no problems, but the problem with penalties is when you miss one. See, when you miss one, I missed one in a pre-season friendly, and then that was it. My nerves were gone, like, and I missed one in a cup final, League Cup final up at Solitude against Cliftonville, and that was me done. Like, so I don't know if I'll ever hit another one again, to be honest.
Yeah. Did you hear much from Carl Frampton? He's a massive Crusaders fan. Was he ever around in sort of the Setanta wins, the Irish Cup wins, league wins? Did you see him much down at Seaview at all?
Yeah, you would have, probably more so, years ago, like, not as much now. It's, he's obviously busier and all now, like, but no, he came, he was actually at my testimonial dinner. So I had my testimonial to Cruise in 2012, and he came to the dinner, and there was a wee bit of an auction and stuff going on, and he was desperate. There was a signed Ireland rugby tub, and he wanted it, and I think it ended up like it was a £400 or something, and someone else ended up getting it. So it must have been before he started making the big dough in the box. As I'd say, if he wanted it now, it wouldn't be a problem. But no, he was good. You would have seen him. He was at the Irish Cup final last year against Ballinamallard. He actually phoned me. He phoned me in January after I left the Cruise.
Yeah.
He phoned me like a week or so later. He had been away, and he phoned me, and he just asked sort of what had happened and all and whatever. Like, so he sort of stays in there and goes to games, I think, when he can. And I think he took his daughter and stuff in the Irish Cup final. So he is a King Cruise fan, like, and he's sound, like, he's he let me carry his belt into one of his fights and all before.
That's right, mate. I was going to ask you about that there. I remember you doing the ring work. How was that as an experience? And what was he like and stuff in the dressing room beforehand? And how focused was he and stuff? And
it was weird. Like, there was me, Paddy Barnes, and Andrew Flintoff, which is just three in the room with him too. Like, but he was really relaxed. Like, Barry McGuigan was his promoter at the time, and Shane was his trainer, and he was just warming up on the pads. And I think when you're up close and you see how hard, he actually hit the pads and all, it's crazy. Like, and it was a good night, and he won. It was Canadian guy, he was fighting Steve Molitor, and he beat him handy enough. Like, and it was a good night. Being ringside and the change before the fight, like, it was unbelievable. Like, it's the sort of thing that you just don't ever expect that you're going to get an opportunity to do, and that's sort of, I suppose, the type of fella Carl is. That he would even ask you to do it. Like,
just seeing that experience as well. Though sometimes it's different. We're used to football and stuff, and it's good to see sometimes from another sport. How they prepare and how they focus, and what they act like.
suppose with boxing, like we play football matches at least once a week, so it becomes like a habit. Whereas with boxing, they maybe have 2 fights a year, and that one night for him is the accumulation of like 14 weeks training. So
Yeah.
I would you could see visibly sort of the pressure and the tension involved in that, as opposed to a game of football. We play every week. Maybe like if we're playing in a cup final or something, might be a bit closer, but there's so much on the line for them too. Like if he was to lose that sort of fight, and doesn't
Yeah.
perform, how badly that sets him back. Whereas, if we lose a game of football, well, we don't want to do, we always have a game coming up, like within at least, maximum 7 days to go and try and put it right again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Have to ask you a couple of things. See, on your European trips and things like that, nights out, what was Sean O'Neill like?
Sean, he's quiet. He's quiet, fella.
I
Sean's a
never.
character. Sean has like a reputation, suppose, as being a bit of a character, but Sean's a sensible enough fella. Like, he's not as mad as people think out. He's brilliant crack, and he loves a beer. And when he's having a beer, he's brilliant crack. But Sean's a sensible lad. Like,
Yeah.
he's got his head screwed on. He loves. I suppose, like most of us, he loves the crack and having a bit of a laugh and enjoying himself. And yeah, he's a very good goalkeeper as well. Like, he's been brilliant over the years I've played with him. But no, he's good. I remember a few trips. We went away on a trip after the Satanta Cup when we went to the Edinburgh. And the first day we were out and had a load of beers and all, whatever you do, and back to the hotel. And then the next morning woke up and got showered and ready, to go out, breakfast and whatever. Went down to Sean's room, and he was sitting there, and he was just drinking a bottle of Jaeger by himself, and he'd been up all drinking a bottle of Jaeger all by himself. But no, he's a good lad. Like, he just loves a crack, and he's like I say, he's fairly sensible. I think people maybe, if you don't know him, you'd think he's a complete balloon, but he's not. Like, he's a smart guy. Like,
Yeah, I played the 21s with him a few times, and he was, as you say, like, he has that perception. People don't know him, that he's just a bit mad, but as you say, like, he's switched on, and he knows the crack. So just moving on. Obviously, come January there, what was it? 18, 19, 20 years at the Cruise.
yeah.
How hard was that one to take for you?
It was tough, like, it was.
What way did it come about? Did you see it coming?
I don't know. Like, it was a strange one. If you sort of roll back to last November, you kind of know. Like, I was out of contract at the end of the season, and there was one or two other players were as well. I think David Cruisley was out of contract, and a young player, Reece McGinley, and they both got new contracts last November. So when that happened straight away, you're kind of going, something's not right. So I left it a few weeks, and then I sort of mentioned it, and then nothing then came back, and then it sort of came in the middle of January. And I was like, need to get something sorted for next season. I didn't want to let my contract run right down to where I was out of contract and I had nothing in place for next year. So I contact the board and contact the manager and say, like, we need to have a meeting to see what the crack is. So I had that, and the vibes were just weren't. There was not. It didn't feel like anything. Started talking about the end of the season. You have to wait to the end of the season, and and then started talking about potentially a pay-as-you-play deal, and that's crazy. Like, and football's never ever been about money for me. There's any time in the last 15 years I probably could have moved to another club and earned more money than what I got at Crusaders, but I always just wanted to feel like whatever I was getting at Crusaders was fair in relative terms to what the club could afford.
Yeah, 100%, like everyone, mate.
Yeah, so like it was never, if say Linfield or whoever had said, right, we'll give you £500 a week, and the Cruise said we'll give you £250, what that would be like if you felt that £250 within Crusaders was, was fair to what everybody else at the club was getting, then I wouldn't have an issue. So that was grand. But so when they started talking about pay play, and then you're kind of going, like, I've been here 18 years, captain the team for about 12 of those, and you're offering to pay as you play.
Did they give you a reason why? Was it because of your age, or?
Well, I assume at the time I was injured. I was carrying a wee bit of a back injury, so I assume that was coming in there thinking. But at the same time, I was fit. I was coming back and was getting fit. I was pretty much a week or two away from being able to play again. Um, but at the same time, I needed to get something in place before the end of January. I didn't want to leave it down to the wire. And then I think at the time too, Rodney Brown had come in and was playing well. And I think maybe the manager thought, I'm just going to go with him, and see how he goes. That was never said to me or anything but potentially, he maybe seen that as a long-term solution. But yeah, it all just felt a bit strange, and then it all happened very, very quickly. Gary, I spoke to Gary at Glenavon, and he was keen to sign me, and there was one or two other sort of other clubs potentially interested. But when I spoke to Gary, I was happy enough to go to Glenavon, and once I knew I wasn't staying at Crusaders, and it was just right. It felt like they wanted me to go. They didn't say right, stay till the end of the season, see how we go in terms of sign a pre-contract somewhere else to stay till the end of the season. They didn't want that. Once I didn't accept waiting to the end of the season. They wanted me to go. It was like right.
You just know as well, mate, don't you? So whenever you have them conversations with either a manager or assistant manager, whoever's in the room, chairman, whatever, you just know as whenever you have them conversations, the vibes, don't you?
Yeah, but
guys are, straight away. Your gut feeling just tells you.
Yeah, but at the same time, for me, you shouldn't have to make a decision off vibes. It should just be told. If someone just says to me, listen, we don't want you here anymore, and you just go, I no problem. That's because at the end of the day, that's up to the club. That's their choice. They're the ones who are handling the contracts. That's fine. But when it's kind of done in a way that you're like, stay till the end of the season and see.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. Especially when you got a family and mortgage bills and stuff to pay. People don't understand that as well.
What you stay till the end of the season and say in start of April. Now obviously we didn't play. We ended up not playing football. So, like you say, when coronavirus kicks in and you're getting to the end of the season, I'm sitting now with no contract. Is there going to be a club who's willing to go? Here, there's a contract.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So, or if you're playing in the end, if you're in April and you touch wood, or whatever, but say you break your leg or real bad injury, you're sitting there with no contract. So I think when someone's offering you a contract and is willing to, to put their faith in you, you have to accept it at that time.
Yeah. What was the conversation with Gary Hamilton like?
It was good.
Especially when you kicked him, mate, for the last 15 years.
I know, and he tried to get me sent off for the last 15 years. Yeah. Do you know what? I didn't really know that much like Gary at all, before chatting to him, but he's brilliant. Like, him and Baxter are completely different, like, and how they go about things. And Gary's very, very quite relaxed, and he's easy, like he's quite approachable to talk to, and he's great. Like, he's a good guy, and obviously they didn't have the season. Glenavon didn't have the season that they wanted this year, and for probably a number of reasons. They've lost so many good players over the last few years, and they had a lot of
Sykes, Bobby Burns,
maybe even Joel Cooper.
Coops as well. Yeah, unreal.
The players that they've hadn't lost over the years, like, or if you had kept them all, they'd have had an unbelievable team. So yeah, it's been a bit of a rebuilding job maybe for Gary, but certainly in my time, like I was only in there probably a couple of months before everything sort of kicked in, and there's plenty of quality in the team. Like, I was not surprised, because you play against them, and anytime I played against Glenavon, at the Cruise, like, we would always got a really, really tough game. But so we went into training, there's so many like real good players. Like, really impressed with James Singleton. Like, he's been playing midfield, and his best position is probably left back, like, and he's been brilliant. Like, even in training and all, he's very good. Josh Daniels and big Danny Perkins had signed from East Belfast is, definitely got really, really good potential to do well. So there's loads of good players, and Gary will probably bring in another few in this window, looking towards next season, depending on how all things go over the next, sort of couple of months.
Yeah, again, there's a really good mixer. Obviously, the likes of yourself. I know there's rumours of Wardy and stuff coming in. I don't know what's happening there. Ribsy in centre midfield. So again, a good, real experience, good crop of experienced boys there, but also, you know, like Glenavon have done the last few years, they've always brought good young boys through as well. I know you're talking about James Singleton there. Is he 23, 24? But he must have about maybe 200 games,
yeah,
you know, already under his belt for such a young boy.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I think when you look at Glenavon probably over the last year, there has been a lack of like real experienced players who have maybe like won things, and that's Gary's talked about that himself. You know, he said like there's loads of good young talent, but it's maybe getting in 2, 3, 4 players who have, you know, maybe won things or been expected to win. You know, it's like, you know yourself, like you playing at Linfield, like you were expected to win every single week.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like that at Crusaders probably the last, you know, 3 or 4 years, where people are expecting you to win things and you have to carry that sort of pressure. And you know, if you can get 2 or 3 of them into a squad of good young players, then it can certainly help push them on. You know, you look at some of the results this year, like they beat Linfield, and you know, took a couple of heavy beatings as well, but beat Linfield, beat Crusaders, but at the same time lost you know, teams in the bottom 6. And that's maybe like a mentality thing where, you know, they maybe switch off at times in those games where they're playing against teams that they expect to beat and end up losing or drawing or whatever. So probably looking at next year, you know, you've got to try and beat those teams in and around the bottom 6, and then whatever points you pick up against the top teams, and you know, all the better. Like, you know, and
Yeah.
for me, like looking at next year, we've gonna have to be aiming for the top 6, like minimum. You know, my point of view, we should be trying to get Europe. You know, and
Yeah.
you know, there's 4 spots again next year, so you know the top 3 in the league and the Irish Cup will get those. So you know, it's going to be so competitive next year, and it's going to be difficult to get in the top 6. But why not? Like, you know, the players are there, and if you can get a bit of momentum in the Irish League and a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence, you have every chance. Like.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you as well, Coates, was basically on the full time front. Can you see sort of the full time clubs possibly moving away from the likes of the clubs that are part time, only doing a Tuesday, Thursday? Did you do any of the full time at Crusaders at all?
No, not really. You know, initially maybe we would have got a couple of the Wednesday mornings in. It was difficult, you know, when you're working full time. It's difficult, and
Yeah.
I think it depends. I think with full time training, you're either full time or you're not.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't think personally. That's my personal opinion, and I don't think like a halfway house thing sort of works. I think, you know, you look at Larne. It certainly helped Larne.
I think Larne are the only ones. Well, from what I speak to players and stuff, I think Larne are the only ones that are actually doing it properly the way English clubs do it, you know, and Scottish clubs do it. And Linfield played Larne. I think it was just before this coronavirus all came about, and I actually wasn't in the squad, but I spoke to a few people down there or whatever, and they said it was the best performance they've ever seen out of an Irish League club. I think Larne won 3-0 or something that night.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the performance, mate. I think it was everything. They just looked so far ahead, and I think now that they've been, maybe this is their second full season doing the full time.
Yeah.
I think that you can really, you know, start now seeing the benefits of it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, even when you watch them, I think when they play Coleraine in the Irish Cup on TV, the first half they were unbelievable. Just popping the ball out, like look like a proper football team. Like, you know, just you know, fit and strong and being able to pass the ball about and whatever, you know. And obviously they've signed some good players as well. But yeah, they look to me like, from full time point of view, they look like a full time team. I think there's still a bit to go in terms of potentially bringing in, you know, extra players and more players to help kick them on. But it's difficult because I know even from, you know, from being at the Cruise with a full time thing, some of the boys were training in the morning and then like putting on their gear to go tiling or whatever their jobs was straight after.
That's not full time, mate. Definitely not.
No, it's not. But you think you have to look as well. Is it having a positive effect, or is it having a detrimental effect? And I think in some cases, not all, not everybody, but I think in some cases it was having a detrimental effect. You know, they were probably more fatigued than they would have been if they were just training 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think there was other boys maybe having to work later and all on other days to make up lost time that they were having to take off. And you know, I just didn't think it was, you know, a great way of doing it, but obviously it's good the clubs have that ambition to try and push you on. Obviously there isn't the finance there to just go, right, everybody, there's 50 grand a year, you know, we'll all just be full-time footballers for the next 3 or 4 years. And then you have to look at things like, if you've only a year, say you're 32 and you have a year in your contract and someone's asking you to go full-time or whatever, and you're kind of going, well, what in a year if you don't offer me a new contract, you know, I'm going to have to go back to your job. And, you know, there's loads of like permutations. It's very, very difficult. And probably at Crusaders, the age demographic of the squad wasn't great for trying to introduce it. You know, so many players have had 10 years careers outside of football building those. They weren't going to give them up, you know. But yeah, it's you have to praise the ambition of trying it, and seeing if it works. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, over the next 2-3 years whether they do keep that going or revert maybe back to more part-time. I suppose it'll depend on finances in terms of European money and whatever, like, and
yeah,
see what happens.
100%. You made a good point there about you know, it's all well being sort of being full-time, but and then going maybe and working a maybe 6 or 8 hour shift. I think that the recovery, like if you look across the water and stuff, mate, and other full-time teams, which I think Larne are doing, all them boys are full-time, and then they're going home to rest or recover or sleep right, or, you know, stay off their feet, so then they can recover, then go again the next day. Whereas, as you say, if you're sort of getting in the morning, doing a couple of hours, getting changed, then going out and work instead of recovering, then you're coming in maybe for a game or training the next day bollocks, like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It sort of defeats the whole purpose of it.
It does, yeah. It's a tough balancing act, you know, to be able to do it. And personally, I think maybe it would be better just introducing maybe another night, you know, because they were doing 2 nights and then like 3 mornings or 2 mornings. I can't even remember. But I think it'd be better maybe just introducing an extra night and doing 3 nights training, you know, rather than in the mornings. But it was kind of the way they wanted to go, and I suppose they maybe looked at it as a way of attracting young players who are coming back from England. You know, I think it is, you know, the likes of Rory Hale and stuff. He was coming from like a full-time setup in Derry. It probably suited him, you know, to be able to do that. You know, Jamie McGonigal, it suits those younger lads maybe who haven't embarked on their careers yet. But we had so many, you know, older players. It was probably more difficult, like.
Yeah, 100%. Right, we'll go and speak a wee bit about the international career, mate. Probably one date that sticks out for the both of us, 6th of June or June time 2009 against Italy.
Yeah.
In Pisa. I got my eyes open that night, mate, I tell you.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like you know, you think you can play a wee bit of football, and then you go and play against those guys, and like it was Italy were the world champions at the time, but that wasn't their team. Like that wasn't their world champion team.
Yeah,
it
was like their seaside or something, mate.
Yeah, well, I tell people it was their A/B team, like, but yeah, it was crazy, like, because I just came off the back and like it wasn't even on my radar. You know, I was just playing away, and then we were in that Irish Cup final that we're talking about a wee bit earlier on, and
yeah, how did you find out about it? How did you find out? You know, what was your first signs of like that you were going to be picked for it?
I can't even really remember, but I remember playing really well in that match. And Nigel Worthing was the manager at the time, and he was at the Irish Cup final, and then I think a couple of days later, maybe one of the papers or something had sort of mentioned it, saying like, you know, that I was set to be in the squad, and then I think there was a few phone calls from different people, and then Nigel actually rang me himself and said you're going to be in the squad, and then the letter came through and stuff. So yeah, it was all a bit crazy, and I was actually due at the time to go to Canada and visit a friend at the same time, so I had to cancel to go to Italy, but yeah, it was crazy. Like, I don't know, you were there too, like, and I don't know, did you expect, like, did you know it was coming or whatever when you were?
Not really. Again, I think that me and the missus, we were meant to go away on holiday. I mean, I think we had 2 holidays booked, one to Cyprus and one to Portugal. We're going to Cyprus for a week and then came back, and then we're meant to be going to Portugal, and I got the phone call then, and both the holidays then had to be cancelled. Mrs. was raging.
Yeah.
That was it, mate. And then the game.
I remember about 2 days before the game. I think Craig Cathcart was due to go, And then
Yeah, there was a few due to go because I was meant to play right back, mate, and then I ended up playing centre half for you, and I couldn't be more happier, mate, because I didn't want to be fucking defending
one
1v1.
on one with some wee tricky winger.
No,
But yeah, when Craig Cathcart, he pulled out. I think he was injured or whatever, and then I was kind of looking, going, there's only like 3 defenders or something here. It was me and you, and then Shane Duffy was in the squad. You know, he plays for Brighton and all now or whatever, and Republic of Ireland. He was in the squad, so I thought they'll probably play him and all, and I'll be on the bench. And then he pulled me like 2 days before the game and said that I was starting. Yeah. And I was kind of obviously delighted, but at the same time I was raging. He told me because of 2 days to sit and stew over what like you know have to and I was rooming with Stephen Carson, who was from Korean. He was in the same boat as me, but he was quite like he didn't calm me at all. Like I remember being in the room with him and him being dead like.
Carson's he's quite serious and all though, isn't he, mate?
He was talking about
Marty Donnelly. Marty Donnelly was brilliant, mate. He didn't care. Like he was.
He was. I who knows what he was talking about. Like, but Stephen Carson was quite intense about it. And, like he was asking, and I'm going like I just wanted to forget about it until it actually had to happen. But brilliant experience. Like probably my most enjoyable football experience. Looking back, like it was brilliant. It was really, really good. They played a full 90. I remember at half time, my thighs were on fire. Like I didn't know how I was going to last another 15 minutes, never mind another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was the way they passed the ball about. It was just crazy. In the Irish League, when you're tired, you can kick the ball, look around, and you get about 30 seconds until someone gets a ball.
I know, mate. I know.
Whereas over like the ball when they're for throw in, it was just like go like free
multi-ball. But they had about 100 ball boys, mate. It was just multi-ball since when I was straight back in again.
It was frightening, but brilliant experience, like, and something that nobody can ever take away from you, like that you've played, and it was brilliant.
Yeah, that wasn't your last either, mate. You what was it, 6 caps altogether?
Yeah.
How was it in that environment in terms of like? I'm guessing as you went away, the likes of Big Gareth McCauley and Johnny Evans that played your position and stuff, did you take bits and pieces from them? Were they good at helping you and sort of, integrating you into the squad?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody was brilliant. Even David Healy was probably someone. He was on that trip to, Italy. I always got on really well with him. Like I felt when we were away, he was always dead on, and because he had a bit of an interest in the Irish League, he sort of was able to talk to me about that, and he was brilliant. Like I really liked David when we were away and stuff. He was sound, and Gareth McCauley and was another one, I suppose, because again he came from the Irish League and he had a bit of affiliation to it and maybe kept an eye on it. He was a brilliant fella. Like you couldn't say a bad word about Big G. He was great. We actually played centre half with him one night down at the Aviva and that whole Carling Nations thing. Nobody was interested in, and played against Wales, and me and him played centre half, and he was class. Like he was brilliant. He made a clearance in that game. Like I don't even know how he made it. It was just he was a brilliant player and brilliant fella. But yeah, just lucky. Like the players that he got to play with in that sort of situation, and never really felt like when training that it was massively out of place. Until Paddy McCourt was in the that guy was. I've never seen anything like him playing football.
Everyone says that, don't they, mate? I listened to, I don't know if you ever watched it, but the Open Goal with Simon Ferry, and they have like all the Scottish boys and stuff on. They've had like Gordon Strachan and the boys from Celtic and stuff on, and they say, mate, he's the best player they've ever seen ever. It just
I've never seen anything like it. See, he used to play wee tiny tight games, and he just couldn't get the ball off him. I was just glad he always seemed to be in my team in training, because he would have tortured you, like. And he used to play passes that, like as a defender you can see, right, he's going to make that pass or whatever.
Yeah.
He used to make passes that nobody else could see. Even the person he was passing it to didn't know it was going to come to them until like it was crazy. Like he was ridiculous. And then thingy as well, Johnny Evans, like for a centre half, how good he is on the ball, was a bit of was an eye opener, like, because he was running around as a centre half, probably as good as like the most technical player in the Irish League. Like that's how good he was. Plus he could defend. So seeing him like was just he was brilliant, quality player. Like
was any of the boys in terms of their standards, mate? Like having a go at people and stuff, and who was the real leaders, and any moaners about the team at all? No, or any boys that would, if any boys were slacking or anything, they'd be straight on to them.
Not really. I suppose at the time Mike Taylor was there, the goalkeeper. Goalkeepers are like, but he was always like at it, every training session. Most of the boys were actually dead on. To be fair, when they trained, everybody trained. I suppose
Yeah.
like that's their job. Like so, you went to training, it was like everybody knew what they had to do, and they just trained. And there was no issues and everyone just got on with it. And generally, the training was very, very good. It was Glenn Snodden was Nigel Worthington's assistant at the time, and his training was first class. He was assistant manager for Simon Grayson as well. When they're at Leeds and Huddersfield and stuff so. His training was brilliant. Everything was so well organised. Used to come out and training. He used to just read off everyone's name. You were wearing yellow bib, orange bib, and just read your names. You put them on, and you just went from session to session. There was no standing about or anything. It was like an hour and 15, hour and a half done. And the intensity was brilliant. It was very, very good. But no, everybody was generally sound. I had no everybody. Grant McCann all was in the squad. Really good fellas. And everybody was dead on.
Yeah. Just to finish us off, mate. In terms of your future and things like that, what's your goal in sort of terms of playing? How many sort of more years do you think that you've got? And then what about sort of after playing? Have you thought about coaching and management at all?
Yeah, so hopefully in terms of playing on it, I'm just going to play as long as I can.
Yeah.
Probably there'll be a day where I know I can't.
You feeling good, mate? Feeling good, yeah?
Yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of training. I've actually been trying to put on a wee bit of muscle over the last sort of few months, and then going to get back running. So I'm trying to get a bit bigger or whatever, and then, but yeah, no, it's really just as long as you can. I think you'll know when you can't. I've had quite a few injuries this year in terms of my back kept me out for quite a while. But when I played this year, I felt like I could play to the level that I've been playing for the last 5 years. I don't feel like I'm struggling to play to the level that you know what I mean.
Are you happy? Are you happy now that in terms of playing in grass, mate, instead of the 4G? Did it? Boys say about their backs and stuff, and maybe aches and pains after that. Bully you for a wee while.
Do you know what? It would sound like sour grapes or whatever if I started to go out of pitch and all whatever. But when I went down after I'd been out for 3 or 4 months or whatever, not even, well, from December, sort of November, December time until January. So I've been out for 3 months or whatever. And I went down to Glenavon and they train on grass and play on grass. And I've had no, in the 2 months of the training, and the training was tough. It was really, it wasn't easy. And I had no problems at all. No flare up, nothing, in my back. And now the pitches were soft, obviously, at that time of year and whatever. And I don't like to say, the 3G pitch and all, because whatever, it's because I enjoy playing on it. It's a great surface, you can pass it about. But I suppose when you're looking back and you've been on it for 12 years, 4 or 5 times a week.
That first one you ever had down was, flip me.
Yeah, I know.
That was horrendous. That was horrendous. On that, mate, and played on that every week.
I know. It is crazy. But the story with that pitch too, I think when it first got laid, is they laid it on gravel.
Yeah.
So when people started playing on it, and the pitch actually started to move, so I had to lift the pitch again, and then I think it just concreted it.
Yeah.
So then all you've got is a wee shock absorber, and then the pitch.
Oh man, it was rock hard, but it suited the likes of Paul Healy and stuff though, man. I remember him changing direction and stuff on it, and then me sort of trying to change direction. He was gone.
No, that pitch the first pitch was so bad, it was an advantage.
Yeah, 100%.
That was when we played the Sligo and the Satanta Cup and all. They were coming down and they were playing that. There was boys slipping all over the place. Whereas we kind of knew, because we'd been trained on it, you need to turn almost in a certain way or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so bad, it was an advantage. But yeah, but in terms of playing on, I'm just gonna play as long as I can. When there's a day when someone just runs, I can't run, someone then it'll be time to, pack it in or whatever. But I'm going to, hopefully all being well, I'm going to enroll in the A license next year.
Good man.
I'm going to do the A license and take it from there. I hadn't really thought too much about in terms of management and coaching, but I think over the last couple of years it's something that's sort of come into my head a wee bit more, that I'd certainly like to stay involved in the game in some capacity. And so it's just one of those ones where as long as you've got your qualifications, then if something comes up, at least you'll be in a position then to make a decision on whether you want to take it or not.
Yeah, I think all that experience, mate, what is it, 18, 19, 20 years there that you've gathered up, and the things that you've won and the things that you've done, and even away in international things you must have picked up off managers and players and things. There's awful lot of knowledge and experience there that you can pass on. Even the younger boys are taking the management.
Yeah, it would be something that would be nice too. I think it would be wrong not to, if you've got that, if you can help someone else if you can help one other person or whatever try and better themselves in football and do something, then why wouldn't you? It'll just be suppose like when that happens, and like I say, I'm hopeful to playing, and Sean Ward always talks about playing these 40, and
yeah,
I don't know, it's like a challenge to him, I think, to stay he's playing these 40. So so I might try and join him in that and see how it goes, but no, definitely coaching and management is something in the future that I would be looking at. But at the minute, it's playing, I just want to play. And I suppose like going down to Glenalvon as well, it gives me a chance to see another club and how they do things.
Yeah.
Being in the one club for so long, you can kind of maybe get stuck in that way. You're going to Glenalvon, they've already seen differences, in how they do things and how Gary and his coaching staff, maybe do things differently.
Uh-huh.
And maybe if you can in the future, taking the best of all the things you've learned to try and like I say, I talked about Glenn Snowden earlier, how organised his training sessions were.
Yeah.
And the way it just sort of was easy as a player. You were doing the work and it was all good stuff, and those sort of things you want to try and bank all those, and so if you're ever having to put on sessions, you can kind of pull out the best bits of what you've learned. And Nigel was great too. I don't know what you thought about Nigel, but I thought he was great. Like, obviously,
I liked him, mate. I liked him.
I thought he was really, really good. Like,
best two-touch player in the world, I love the game of two-touch.
Just circle to start, and he was in the middle of it, but
yeah.
I thought Nigel was great, and I was actually surprised. He obviously didn't really happen for him at Northern Ireland, but then he went on. He was at York and stuff after that, and it didn't really work out for him and stuff But I thought he was, obviously I'm biased because he gave me a few caps but
yeah,
I thought he was quality.
No, I agree, mate. I agree. Well, listen here, Coatsy, thanks very much for coming on, mate. I appreciate it.
No, pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
Keep that blonde in the hair, mate.
No, can't hide the greys.
Right, listen.
We'll have to see you pop up next year.
Here, mate. I might retire and just carry on this here.
I don't know. Don't be doing that.
I might do it, Davy McGann.
You have same colour hair anyway.
Right, Cody, listen, mate. Take care of yourself.
Cheers, mate. You too.
Mate. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.